in the shadow of the old growth, in an island within an island, in a forest within a forest, is a voice. It is the voice of the six-mountain forest and of every forest, the voice of the ancient rainforests, the remains of the living and dead, and the voice of their offspring forests, descendants of a primordial unfolding, on their way to becoming, already functioning, as old growth. Welcome to beautiful British Columbia's second growth, naturally regenerated forests. Logged 70 to 250 years ago, an immensity of ecosystems, recovering, returning, some of the most travelled, most revered, yet most misunderstood forests in the province. Welcome to our lifelines. As in the War of the Woods in the 80s, when there was still time to protect the vastness of ancient forests, so today it is possible to protect those logged before the arising of the tree plantations and the machines, logged before the supplanting of 34 fellers by one feller buncher, and the hoe-chuckers crashing through, logged back in the day when things went slow and a multitude of trees were left standing. For in the beginning, not every conifer was taken, not the small, nor bent, nor broken, nor all species, nor the deciduous, not the nitrogen-fixing alder, aspen, birch, nor the soil-enriching maple, nor the mysterious contorted oak, arbutus, dogwood, and left standing with the living were the dead, the decaying insect-rich bird, bat, native squirrel meal habitat trees, and on the ground nurse logs and tree trunks crowned with verdant life, and the living stumps, the leprechaun living stumps, with no chemicals, no herbicides, just the earth, just the gently trodden, uncrushed soil, seeds, roots, mycelium, mosses, lichens, and the infinite, invisible, infinitesimal soil builders. In short, everything, the stuff, the triad building blocks of nature, energy plus matter plus information, the essential ingredients of an ecosystem left to its own intelligence to heal, to begin again. So it was possible. So it happened, in a time of temperate and favorable conditions, that these forests grew and grew and grew back. Behold today, before your eyes, these remarkable forests. Feast with your eyes, if you live near, or if you cannot travel here, behold through the eyes of children. Behold these ecosystems of 10,000 years evolution, of diversity, complexity, harmony, home to a multitude of species, from the tangible to the invisible, from worm meal to the ethereal, from the generative, regenerative reclamation of the earth, the root-bound fertility of the uneroded, unfathomable underground, to the green vaulted firmament. Behold these backbones of the coastal and interior communities, guardians of water, soil, air, sanctuaries beloved to islanders, mainlanders, people from across the continent and beyond the seas, from the rugged northern coast to the warm lands of the south, the Gulf Islands, the Mediterranean of the Pacific Northwest. And know that at the present rate of clear-cutting, these ecosystems, these emerald and azure jewels bartered by the crown, could be gone in the blink of an eye. Or, contrariwise, if protected, if left to continue to grow, are on the brink of becoming the next vastness of old growth. For decades, small groups have warned their communities of things happening on the backsides of the mountains, out of sight, behind locked gates and private signs, spreading, climbing, approaching. And yet, despite hundreds of thousands of people arriving within these towering forests to hike, to bike, to breathe, to bathe and connect within the depths and currents of the surging, soaring canopy, to sleep, to dream, to awaken in the silence and song-drenched understory, despite the visual, visceral consequence of clear-cutting, the erosion, the eruption of non-native, toxic, flammable, yellow warning species traveling down logging roads, country roads, highways, spilling through tree plantations into the growing lands and waterways, despite the contrast with tree plantations, Single species in rows of uniformity, fast-growing trees, matchstick trees, incendiary, exposed, without bark-thick elders to shelter, ground, anchor, nurture, barely embarked, mowed down every few years. And despite the lessons of the old growth, no longer hidden, the last freighter filling truckloads headed for distant ports. Cloaked in secrecy, the story of the next generation of old growth is a mystery to most people who would protect these forests if they knew how, if they could do so right now, if they cease to believe we have no voice in the system. For we do. In September 2018, in a valley, a voice warned of clear-cutting coming over the tops of 6 mountains. Thousands of citizens heard the warning. It ignited a grassroots forest campaign that led to a public consultation about the highest good of the North Cowichan community forests: Mount Zuhalem, Provost Swacus, Stony Hill, Maple, Richards, Sicker. Throughout the province, small groups are watching. For should one community end the clear-cutting in its backyard, and should the story spread and grow, should the individual and collective ear hear, and the personal and public eye see for itself the facts, the truth about the forests, then profound change is possible now. For true change in the world is simple. It does not require every person. It does not require revolution. It is not noisy. It begins not on the outside, but like a forest, quietly, deeply, within.